click retry and it started up. You good? Yeah. Sure. I see it on Google. I couldn't follow it. Just look for it. Hit retry again.
Alright. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakapadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. We out here once again to let the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans know that you are God's chosen people. You are the Israelites according to the Holy Bible. We come out week in and week out, prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom known as America, which is Babylon the Great according to the Holy Bible. It is ruled and ran by the so-called white man Esau Edom, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. We out here to proclaim the return of our Lord and Savior, who were ignorantly called Jesus Christ. His true ancient biblical name is Yahweh Shai, and he's coming back to bring salvation unto the elect of the nation of Israel, as well as judgment unto 2/3 of our people who refuse to repent and return back to the Lord. And again, like we was out here Friday, prophesizing and speaking to our people back when all the festivities was going on or homecomings was going on. We already said through the Spirit that something was going to happen, something was going to go down. And it had been a long time since we had been at camp and just seen chariots. You know, we seen six or more chariots in the sky, which we know they was all over. But just us being out here, we saw 6 chariots. We knew things was gonna go down because we know that outside of the elect, outside of the hopeful elect, you got Jake walking around in darkness with no light, and they have demons on them. You know, Jake literally has demons on him. And the only way those demons will come off of him is through the words of Yahweh Shai. That's why when Yahweh Shai was walking the earth, he was able to cast demons off of our people back then because he is the word. So just like back then, now we have the word with us, the word is within us. You know, we have this word in our mind. And every time we listen to the videos, we read, we study, we sup with Yahweh Shai, he'll get those demons and those unclean spirits off of us. When you got the rest of the Israelites moving in the ways of this world, they had those demons on them. So all those shootings that took place and all that violence that took place over the weekend and days after the weekend, we already, through the Spirit, we already knew that was going to happen. And that's going to intensify. You know, and this ain't the first time something happened where people was like, you know, was amazed at how many people died. Just remember earlier this year, down in Louisiana, I can't remember what exactly the event was, but you had that person that drove through that crowd, killing all those people, and one of those girls was from Mississippi.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Mardi Gras. And one of those girls from Mississippi, her mom told her not to go, and she snuck out with her parents anyway. I mean, snuck out with her cousin anyway. She winded up dying. And one of those people that died, I think, in Laurel, I mean, not Laurel, Leland, Mississippi, my supervisor, that was his cousin's daughter, one of those people that died, you know? So he gave me a little insight of, you know, he don't know much about it, but, you know, he just said that was his cousin's daughter that died. So time after time again, we come out and prophesy to our people about the evil that's to come on this earth. And this is all scourges for amendment. This is for the rest of us, and us included, to put fear into you, put fear in all of us, to turn back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord allowed events like this to happen. And when he talk about birth pains, Jacob's trouble, and all the events that leads into it, all those are gonna be like birth pains too. It's gonna increase in intervals. So the more and more judgment we see the Lord bring on the earth, and on our people is supposed to put more and more fear into us. And we want to be right and be saved from it. But our people don't listen. They ain't paying no attention. Just like they didn't pay no attention to us Friday. You had a lot of activity, a lot of people driving by, a lot of people walking by, and ultimately people knew we were down here because they see us all the time. So and also too, not even just our camp in general, but all the brothers that's teaching this word in sincerity and the truth, we all on over social media. So our people know about the Israelites. And I guarantee you every person that got shot or that ended up dying knew about the Israelites and still didn't turn back to the Lord, or else he wouldn't allow such a horrible judgment to take place in that manner. And it's not to say the Lord don't take spirits away from the earth. Can a brother get that? The righteous perish and no man layeth it to heart. It ain't like the Lord don't take it ain't like the Lord don't take away his righteous from the earth, you know. But we have had brothers and sisters. We've had brothers and sisters who have passed away and transitioned to the spirit world, you know. But the difference is they died in the truth, believing and knowing, and you know, believing in Yahweh Shah, and tried to transform their life. And they didn't get such a horrible, because a death like that, that's horrible. That's not honorable.
The young lady that got killed on Monday, that child was in the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
I heard those shots when they rang out. Yeah. It was 2 sets of shots. You know, it was like 8 shots, real rapid, and then it was about 3 or 4 shots after that. So it was evidently a shootout because there was 2 different gun sounds.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought when I heard about that, I was thinking that there was probably some type of adultery going on, and the fact she got shot in the head, I was thinking that there was probably something dealing with adultery.
That's what I kind of thought at first, but then after, you know, playing it back and listening to the 2 different gunshots, I mean, it still could have been, you know, but I imagine the driver and whoever had an altercation over something. But there was a big, that weekend, the neighborhood that's across from my neighborhood, there was a big something going on, party or something, because the night before, I mean, they had a DJ and music and stuff. I mean, you would think the people were right outside the house. You could hear them just that clear talking on the mic. And they were way over there where the junkyard is, across the highway. And then they had something the next day. Those cars were lined up all around that loop road over in the neighborhood over there. And people were parking all on Northwest Middle School parking lot and on the church across the street parking lot. So it was, I don't know what it was, but they had some 2-day weekend event over there. So it was mostly young folks, y'all.
I always say that our generation, you know, my generation on down, this is a different breed, you know, and the same tactics Esau Edom used on previous generations, he done perfected it and amplified it. And now the newer generation is on a whole nother level, like the brother said Friday. Our people are literally talking about their own demon time now. You know, that wasn't a thing in generations before. They wouldn't dare say nothing like that. You know, they probably didn't serve the Lord, you know, in the way that they should. They did a lot of wickedness, but they certain boundaries they wouldn't cross. They wouldn't dare say they on demon time. But now, you know, this generation. Well, you know, our generation on down, you know, we young brothers, our generation on down, they a whole different breed.
And it just go to show like all the enchantment that Esau to put on our people. You know, Esau played a long game, and it got worse over time because everything is completely adverse now. Like you say back then, when nobody talking about they on demon time, it's an abomination. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to be associated with that. Right. But now, it's like a bad genre now. It's a bad genre to be a YN. To be reckless, to be willing to throw your life away over anything. They had it was a short video I seen on net. Was playing 2K. You know, they had everybody was in the game chat. I forgot what they had got into it about it. He was like, nigga, I throw my life away over this. Right. They take pride in it now.
Right. It's a quote that say, find something to die for and then live for it. Our people don't understand that, you know, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Abashai, we've been brought into this truth. Now we understand we might lose our life for this truth. And now living for this truth. So we found something worth dying for and to live for. And Yahweh Shai had that same mindset. He literally died for this. He died for all of us Israelites, you know, not the other nations, but the Israelites. And he lived for it while he was alive. He lived for it.
Right.
But whoever got crucified.
You know, it was just a bad omen. Well, I mean, it's prophecy coming out, but speaking worldly, it was a bad omen for the state of Mississippi because I know at least 12 people got killed over that weekend. And at least 20 to 25 people got killed or wounded over that weekend.
That's just reported.
Right.
That ain't what's not covered. They just cover homecoming.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, that was reported on the news. It might have been some more, you know, events that happened, but, you know, for the homecoming events, it was like 3 different schools in the state, high schools in the state, where they had violence acts. You know, then not to mention the events that happened up here, you know, at the college level, where at least 2 people, one got killed and one got shot. A little boy got shot.
A little girl.
A little girl got shot. So, you know, you know, the Most High showing his point, you know, that his word is not going to come back void to him, you know, and judgment went forth that over that weekend.
You got something?
Yeah, I stumped you.
You got something? You get Hosea 4 and you started talking.
And
No, go ahead.
And when the brother was just speaking, I just thought about it again. We were just speaking on it. He said you had some events at the college level. You had the events down here, and then you had the events like Alcorn. All together, you probably had maybe 2, 3 fatalities, and then like some property damage with the cars on fire. But you go on down to the younger generation, to the high school. That's where all the killing happened.
Right.
16 in Leland, 6 gone. I forgot how many in Heidelberg, but I think like 1 or 2 were gone, 2 dead. Then you go to, what was it, Roland Fork. My grandma had to tell me about that. There was like another 2 high schools. But yeah, you going down to the next generation. They said that's what they coming up in, that violence.
Which now, you know, which nothing was wrong with, you know, supporting your school and having fun, seeing old classmates and stuff like that. But now the violence have taken over and they canceling it for everybody. You know, you still got major schools that hadn't had their homecoming, but they still will, you know. Like Mississippi State, I don't know if they had theirs or not, but they still have it on campus, you know. But other high schools are pretty much campus. But what's going to happen is they're going to move it off campus, you know, and it's going to get worse and worse. You know, like when Provine and Lanier had theirs, Provine had theirs at a park down the street from the school, which wasn't school campus. And then Lanier had theirs on the old apartment, with old apartment, not Maple Street apartments, but Town Creek apartments were, you know, which is, I mean, it's right there by the campus, but it's off campus. But, you know, they finna, you know, that's what they're gonna start doing, and things are gonna still, as the scriptures say, the world is gonna wax cold and colder. So it's gonna get worse and worse, you know, at those events.
Yeah, because them canceling on the campus, you know, Jake still gonna go out and they still gonna party. They still gonna meet up somewhere. They gonna all come together and decide on the location, meet up at, like you say, a public area, like a park or something. They still gonna be out there drinking, smoking, doing whatever else, and the same thing still gonna happen.
Right.
You can get that Hosea first.
All right, this is Hosea 4, verse 1. I'm gonna read it in the AMP. I'm in the NLT, but switch over. All right, this is Hosea 4:1 in the AMP. It said, "Hear the word of Yahweh Yahweh Shai, you children of Israel, for the Lord has a legal case with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no faithfulness, no steadfast love, no dependability or loyalty of kindness or knowledge of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai from personal experience with him in the land."
Right, so the Lord said he got a problem with how the Israelites are moving in the land that they, in modern day time, it's over here in America. Lord got a problem with the majority of our people, how you living, because there is no righteousness, about you. You know, the Lord created Israel to be righteous, but our people have turned into that. Well, we at 1.2 turned into that degenerate plant, but the Lord pulled us out of this. The Lord is addressing the rest of the nation, 2/3 of our people. And how we know is because of what he said he was going to allow it to happen unto them, which is later on in the chapter. But there is no righteousness about the nation of Israel. And we just see each generation getting worse and worse.
I got something else. Well, I just finished thinking. I got an article that just popped up.
Okay.
All right, verse 2, it says, "There is false swearing of oaths, deception, broken faith, murder, stealing, and adultery."
Right, so
Let me finish. "They employ violence so that one act of bloodshed follows closely on another."
Right, so this is what the Lord said goes. This is literally what happens in what you call the black community. You know, and it's not just the so-called blacks, but at the same time, you have a lot. They put that on the mainstream media because they don't really focus on the other tribes like that when it comes to crime, like they do with the Southern Kingdom, so-called blacks. But you got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and they group us all in together. So they focus on crime with the Southern Kingdom, but at the same time, this stuff do go on, and the Lord is seeing it. You know, so he said you got adultery going on, you got murder going on, and then you got revenge murder. You know, you got lying, you got stealing. All this is going on in the so-called black community, but our people want to talk about Black Lives Matter, or our people want to uphold black culture, when you don't even understand the definition of the word black. And you go into the word black, it primarily means something negative, something evil, or something wicked, which is what Esau Edom used to project onto our people. And now he don't have to project it no more, because our people have done tucking on those ways, you know, of being all wicked. You know, our people really have become wicked. Would you want to bring something up?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a news article I just had pop up on my phone. It says break news, even though it's anything but. This is 5 hours ago. It says Cleveland, Ohio, charges filed. 2 children, ages 9 and 10, are facing several serious charges, including attempted murder and forcing themselves on a woman. After prosecutors say they brutally attacked a 5-year-old, Elmarie, in Cleveland, the 2 children have been charged in connection with the assault that occurred last month. So it happened last month. Prosecutors say a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl are facing initial charges of attempted murder, of forcing yourself on her, and felonious assault, kidnapping, and strangulation. So they could.
A woman or the girl?
The 9 and 10-year-old did that to the 5-year-old. Yeah, that's why I said forcing yourself.
Oh, they were saying once.
Yeah, a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl did it to a 5-year-old girl in Cleveland.
What did they say with that Jake or not?
Well, there's a picture, so you can know.
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
assume.
Yeah,
That's the little girl picture.
yeah, the little girl, she Jake, you know. And this again, like you said, this is gonna tie right into this chapter, because most people, and I guarantee you, most people that see that article, somebody's gonna say, why would God allow this? Somebody gonna have the nerve to say, why would God allow something like this? But all these years, here it is, the Lord been trying to tell our people what it is, you know, what the business is. He allowed the men of the Lord to be in your family, to be in your circle. You might be married unto him, you know, you might be kin to them, whatever, or you might be friends with them, close friends with them, you might work with them. No matter what the case may be, the Lord has always put the answers right in your face, and our people willingly deny it. Just like the elder Manata Saba out of South Carolina just did a video, about his aunt that passed. And, of course, we're in the flesh, so we do have, empathy, we do care about our people, but not more than what we care about the Lord. And he said he remember his aunt telling him that she ain't no Israelite, a couple years ago. Back when he was trying to bring the truth to his family. She told him that she ain't no Israelite. And that's rejecting, because she wasn't rejecting him. She was rejecting the message that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua gave him to give to the people. And that's the same way that our people have rejected the message of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, whether they know us or not. So the Lord said later on in the chapter, like, he got something coming for you. If you're going to reject him, he going to reject you. Yahweh Shah said that, and our people really be thinking that the Lord is on their side, but they don't understand. You got it.
All right, verse 3. It said, therefore, the land continually mourns, and everyone who lives in it languish in tragic suffering, together with the animals of the open country and the birds of the heaven, even the fish of the sea disappear.
Right, so the Lord said it's going to be continual trouble and anguish and problems. And, the longer this persists, it's going to continue on being more and more problems, like the brothers had brought out earlier. Every time you get Jake, you get so-called black people around each other for long periods of time. They get to drinking, they get to smoking, they get to popping whatever pills and doing whatever else that's out there, and nobody out there has the thoughts of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua in their mind. So it's going to be bound to wickedness to be around the corner. Somebody going to get shot, somebody going to get hurt, somebody might wind up dying, and it's going to only be, and in the aftermath, everybody going to make those posts saying, we got to do better. We got to do better, Mississippi. We got to do better wherever location, Well, we got to do better, black people. It ain't going to get better. And that's what we constantly telling you.
Right. And, it could be 100 people. It can be 25 people in a room, just having a nice, good social time. One person can show up with 25 demons on it, and each one of them demons jump off on somebody and get something crunk up and started, and it's now a big brawl, a big fight. Sort of like, kind of remind you of Kingsman, when they went to the church and they turned that thing on and all the people just started fighting, but one person, can carry many demons on him. If he got clean at one time, the demon leave and come back with 7 more wickeder than him. And then, he go around other people, and then they just continually to pile on, so. And that's how it generally happens. Everything's going smooth. It could be almost to the end where everybody getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden things pop off. Everything turned tragic.
Right, because everybody basically under that spirit of Esau Edom, man. He running the world, and his blessing was the sword, so this is that spirit. The spirit of Yahweh Shai is not controlling you, then the spirit of Esau is rubbing off on the people. That's like going back in the Cain, he was a murderer from the beginning. But this is the spirit that's in the earth, man. It's the spirit, like the scriptures say, as the root, so as the ruler, so as his officer. So this the spirit, that Esau has. This the enchantments he put on our people, basically. Our people's under serious mind control, under serious enchantment. A lot of them, they just gonna have to die and come back and be right, It is what it is. A lot of them too far gone to be saved, so they're gonna have to become really one of those sacrifices involved that the Lord is placing. This is what's going on. You gotta go out.
All right, this is verse 4. It said, let no one find fault, nor let any rebuke others. For your people are like those who contend with the priests. So you will stumble in the daytime, and the false prophets will also stumble with you in the night.
Right.
And I will destroy your mother Israel.
Right. So everybody going off, everybody wicked. You know, the people, these these leaders, you know, these pastors, whatever the case. Because why is this? Why do you have so much violence going on in the black communities, but everybody's supposed to be going to church, or you still got these churches? What are these churches doing? You know, why are these churches not stopping the crime? You know, because if they had the words of the Lord, they supposed to be able to touch the youth. They supposed to be able to change the youth or save as many lives as they can. That's what they teach. You know, that's what they talk about. But yet and still, you will have the churches come and try to demonize the Israelites, and we out here telling you what the Lord said. We telling you literally what's about to happen. So when these events happen, it ain't no surprise. We just getting the blood off our hand. Every day, somebody's being judged. You know, somewhere in the earth, somewhere in the world, somebody's being judged, and that same person that's being judged has been told or warned, whether directly or indirectly, by the Lord to repent. We just getting the blood off our hands. So if that person died and we had the opportunity to share the truth, it ain't our fault. And I don't mean wrong time, wrong place. I mean by us just doing what the Lord commanded us to do.
Verse 6. I'm going to read this in both the KJV and the the AMP. KJV, it said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, I will also forget thy children.
Right, so the Lord said, because our people, they refuse to actually do what you was created to do, he said, well, to hell with you, you know, and your children. You know, everyone after you, your family, he don't care nothing about that. The Lord created you. He can say whatever he want to say and do whatever he want to do in whatever fashion he want to do. And Yahweh Shai told us this too. He said, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, what good is it for? You ain't good for nothing. Any Israelite that's not serving a purpose, because every Israelite man is supposed to be a judge. Every Israelite man is supposed to be a ruler and a king in the earth, you know? But right now, 2/3 of our people are wicked. So if an Israelite is if he's not serving his purpose, you're going to be destroyed. And every Israelite woman is supposed to be a servant and an assistant and a helpmeet unto that man. You know, regardless if you like the way we put it or not. That's what you were created for. That's your role. You know, so you're supposed to assist that man in his role of judging the earth righteously. But if you can't do that, you good for nothing too. That's why the Lord says it's going to be a remnant. And it's going to be a small remnant. We see more and more why it's going to be such a small remnant. Because our people really just not right. Like the brother said, the only way they going to get right, they got to be destroyed and be reborn in the kingdom of heaven.
You just said that about the woman, she just take my own.
Right.
Yeah, like the brother was saying, man, even with that, we understand that 2/3 of our people got to go, that that's their lot. And like we were just going into, like the brother was just going into, like these, they say, where your pastors and your leaders at now? But they'll try to demonize us, and all we doing out here is the same thing we always do. Stop eating this, stop smoking this, stop smoking this, stop popping this, stop showing your ass on the internet, try to get you a man of the Lord. Stop doing all of this, try to get your, you know what I'm saying, do everything to the best of your ability. We gotta get ready for the Lord to come back. But we gotta get ready for an eternal righteous kingdom where we ain't got to worry about shit ever again. But they don't want to hear that. But to us, it seems simple. This all I gotta do. I just gotta try to do this to the best of my ability. Gotta cut this out, cut that out. Stop doing this, stop doing that, and I get this in return. Shit, it sound like a good trade-off. But to them, they stuck in the world. They stuck in the ways of the world.
Because he said his laws are not grievous. So that means they're not hard. You know, it's not gonna put a burden on you to keep them. You know, and once you keep them, it becomes second nature. It's just like driving a car. You know, you get in it, you do everything you're supposed to do, and you go.
Right.
You know.
Just like even with the, you said not grievous, even with the, you always come back like the basics, like food. You go to the doctor tell you stop eating it. Just running your blood pressure up. That ain't hard to do, just don't eat it.
Right.
You got all these other things you can eat that's beneficial to you. And you, I gotta have that, doc. You see?
Right.
We laugh at it, but it is real life.
Because the Lord told us, through his laws, statutes, and commandments, he showed us how to reach our full potential. You know, like our people, they don't understand. We ain't just telling you to do this, you know, just because, well, I mean, we tell you to do this because this is what the Lord commanded us to do, but it's a purpose behind it too. This is literally how you reach your full potential of why you was created. The other nations will never have the opportunity to do what we doing. So when we keep our laws, statutes, and commandments like you was going into with the dietary law, us not eating foods that destroy us keep us in optimal health. It keep your brain functioning properly and to its highest degree that's possible in this flesh right now. You know, keep your energy levels up, and you're able to have, you know, be more successful and making, you know, help, you know, creating the next generation, further forwarding your legacy to the next generation. They have a greater chance of being in that same position or greater, you know, being able to live up to their full potential. But the more you break your body down, and then you, with your broken down body by disobeying the laws, now you passing on those traits. That's why they always talk about certain ailments be hereditary, because our people are not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. You keep the Sabbath. I mean, it's certain stuff we can't control. That, you know, we not functioning in our full. Just because we in this truth, don't mean we got it all together. But it's a growth process. And even like the brother said, the laws, statutes, and commandments are not grievous. They're not grievous when you finally understand the purpose behind them. You know, because in the beginning, like, you know, it'd be a transition period coming from the world into the ways of the Lord. It is a transition, you know. So it takes a lot of growth in order to get to the level that you're supposed to be at. But that's the purpose of it, so that we can see just how much we were missing out when we was living in the ways of this world.
The clouds going in front of us. Little misty clouds or something crazy. Yeah. Cause I saw it for a minute, then it went away, and then I saw the little mist of cloud.
But yeah, so that's real, because look at just how degenerate our people are. When they don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, you literally degenerate. You go against the purpose that the Lord had it for you. He had for us to be great, but we doing the opposite of what the Lord wanted us to do. Now our people are just worse. You know, they becoming worse than the enemies, than the other nations. You know, you got the other nations looking at us all crazy, like we really need to be eradicated off the earth, because we the ones destroying the earth. But our people, like I said, they do need to be off the earth so that they can come back in their right mind, and then we can all be at our full 100% ability, you know, our full potential. But then we understand why, because we don't went through the whole process. We don't went through the human experience. So now we got understanding on all angles, and we know the best way to judge and guide these other nations, because their lives depend on us. If we ain't right, the Lord, he already don't care about them. If the Lord wanted to, he would have just destroyed everything. They wouldn't have had a chance to plead for their life, you know, because they don't matter. The only reason why they have their purpose is to serve us, you know. So their lives depend on us, just like everything else in creation depends on us, you know. When I say depends, I mean when we get right, everything else is gonna flow naturally. So we understand that purpose now. So now, being in this truth, it's not grievous unto us, you know. Oh. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man.
Go ahead.
Like the brother was just going into it. Our people just keep degenerating, man. And if we keep going the way we going, hey, like you said, they already feel like they got to eradicate us. We gonna eradicate ourselves. Yeah. They say each generation more and more cook, man. Cause like we were just going into just the health aspect. You get both sides, mother and father, they both finished. You got the father smoking this, drinking that, smoking cigars, taking Viagra pill, blood pressure pill, all the medication. Then the mama on the same end, she over there smoking what she smoked, drinking what she drank, popping her pills, doing all this type of stuff. And then you mix it all together. On both sides, you put it into a child, and that child don't stand a chance from the beginning. Right. And it's a continuous cycle, and it's just a multitude of them.
And again, going into the dietary law, our people don't do the research on certain foods. You know, certain foods, fruits, vegetables, meals, you know, times to eat, all that can serve, and fasting. All those can solve a lot of problems when you don't have to go to Esau Hill's medicine for it. And I know, like you said, even with just the Viagra alone, I know pomegranate and watermelon, they have the vitamins and nutrients that naturally give, you know, both genders that libido, but it's especially good for males, especially when you eat it frequently. But you got a lot of, that's personal preference. You got people that don't like watermelon. There's other options. But it's just things that our people don't understand. Like I said, for us to reach our full potential, the Lord created these things for us. The other nations benefit off of it, but He created the world for our sake, you know, for us to enjoy paradise and rule the other nations.
Right. And, you know, the good thing about it, the good thing about following the law, statutes, and commandments, you have a peace of mind. You know, when everything in your body is flowing good, when you wake up and you're not aching and ailing over different, because you worked in the yard, and you know, generally when you work in the yard, you wake up the next morning, you're all tense and sore, you know, but you know, your body get in shape, you know, you work out, you do things, your mind is at peace. When you go to sleep at night, you're at peace because you know you're in the care of the Heavenly Father. And if He decides to take you over in the night, then you know you're going to be with Him. So that's the peace of mind that comes with this. Because what did He say? Be a part of this world, live in this world, but don't be live in this world, but don't be a part of this world. So, you know, living in this world, that's part of it. You know, we have to pick the best of the best foods that we can pick. You know, even though the food that is clean to us to eat, we still have to pick the best of that. You know, and we still have to work, we still have to sleep, we still have to do all these things. So that's the beauty of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, that you have that peace of serenity. That serenity of peace, bro. Now, all right, I'm gonna read Hosea 4 and 6 in the AMP. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge of my laws, where I reveal my will, because you, the priestly nation, have rejected knowledge."
See, we're a priestly nation. That's another thing. So, like the brother was saying, when we don't keep the law, statutes, and the commandments, it make us just look all the way out there, like the lords of the earth. Because the Lord gave these law, statutes, and commandments to us. And when the other nations see us doing anything outside of that, that's why they treat us the way they do, and they got the right to, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that when we keep these law, statutes, and commandments, that's what make them fear us, according to Deuteronomy 28. But when we go against it, then they got the upper hand on us. So
it says, because you, the priestly nation, have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you from being my priest. Since you have forgotten the law of your power, I will also forget your children. The more they multiply in numbers and increase in power, the more they sin against me. I will change their glory into shame.
Right, and the Lord has done that. He changed our glory into shame. So the more our people increased on the earth, the more our people became wicked and they drew away from Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Bashar. We seen that even in this time, you know, because this is the most populated the earth has ever been. You know, you got 8 billion people on the earth. You know, all these people on the earth, you got a lot of Israelites, because you got a lot of women out here, single mother, yep. They're going right above.
Oh, yep.
Oh, praise to y'all. But you know,
You got a lot of single mothers. Got a chariot right above us. You got a lot of single mothers. They got a lot of children. You know, they just be having
I see
children.
it. I had to block the light out first because all right, verse 9, it said, and it shall be, verse 8, it said, the priests feed on the sin offering of my people and set their hearts on their wickedness. And it shall be like people, like priests, both are wicked and both will be judged.
Right, so like the people, like the priests, they said both will be judged, because our people, from the leadership on down, nobody is they're not trying to make a change or transition to be an example of what the Lord wants to see on earth. Only the hopeful elect, you know, because only the hopeful elect have that hope that they're going to be saved and to be exempt from the judgment. You know, we're really going into the men, you know, because that's what it starts with. That's what it starts with, the leadership. But you can tell the clear difference between us and this truth, you know, in sincerity and in truth, versus the rest of our people. You know, you got these other Israelite groups, and like you said, it's sincere brothers in these groups that the Lord gonna pull out. But a lot of these groups, they make the Israelites look bad. Like what they was doing at the IUIC was doing at the 2819, whatever the church is called, marching. The Lord never told us to do that. You know, He told us to preach the word, and that's it. You know, He didn't tell us to go out here and march like we in some army in formation.
go ahead. Go.
All right, it says, and it shall be like priests, and it shall be like people, like priests, both are wicked, and both would be judged. So I will punish them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. They will eat, but not have enough. They will play the prostitute, but not increase their descendants, because they have stopped giving heed to the Lord Yahweh Yahweh Shah. The prostitute, wine, and new wine take away the mind and the spiritual understanding.
Right, so it said our people that play the prostitute and wine, meaning they go into idolatry, worshiping of the other gods, and denying the one true God, and even going into the literal prostitution, because the mass majority of our women, they really are prostitutes. They don't call themselves that. They don't call themselves a prostitute, but that's really what they are. You know, because you completely out of order, and they don't like to be called. They don't like to be called for what it is, because they don't like to be held accountable. But you seeing more and more women being judged. Like at one point in time, certain women, certain levels of women were off limits, or certain women in general, or women in general were off limits. But now women getting judged just like men being judged. You know, being shot, or something terrible happening unto them. You know, but it goes into ultimately idolatry. But even we ain't got to get it, but later on in the chapter, the Lord said He not gonna punish your daughters or your women or your wives when they commit prostitution, when they commit adultery against you. You know, to going into the men, going into the leadership, and you know that's why they had all this liberty to do what they doing now. But now it's over with for that. But you got it, huh?
I got a precept. This is Isaiah chapter 9, starting at verse 13. In the Amplified Version, yet the people do not turn back in repentance to him who struck them, nor do they seek the Lord of hosts as their most essential need.
Right, because our people, they don't understand the condition that you in is the result of your actions against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And no matter how many times we come out here and tell them, no matter how many videos we make, and no matter how we walk in our lives, in our day-to-day life, because it ain't like the Lord got us on us in a separate area away from 2/3 of our people, so they don't have examples. Like you literally got examples, men, women, and children that's walking in a way that pleases the Lord. So not only are you hearing the truth, but you got living examples around you. You might be sleeping beside one, living beside one, or working beside one. You know? But our people, they don't consider. And it's like, I think it's Romans 12, where it's out, I forgot. It's in Romans where it says our people, they got a zeal for the Lord. It's in Romans 3, but not according to knowledge. Romans 10. Our people, they don't even have a zeal for the Lord anymore. You know, and he noticed, he see that. They don't even have a zeal for him no more.
Well, like you say, nor do they seek Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua of hosts as their most essential need. That's what it's all about, man. You know, you gotta know who is your most, you gotta seek him like he more than anything out here. You know, he gotta be put first. You don't seek him only when something happened bad. You wake up in the morning, first thing, you know, first before you get it going, you're supposed to pray. You're supposed to pray. You know, that's how you show he the most essential in your life, man. You're supposed to go and pray, you know, and you know, thank him and let him know, you know, without, you know, let him know, you know, without him, you nothing. The Lord, like it said, the Lord know in Romans 8, he already know what we need before we pray. But he wants you to show him, you know what I'm saying? He wants to see you honoring him. He wants to see you beg him just like a father with his own son. He already know what you need, you know what I'm saying? But he wants you to honor him, you know, he wants you to show, you know, he wants you to honor him basically. So, but we gotta seek him as our most essential need, not just when we think we need him, you know?
I remember Elder Apostle Cox, you know, when he made his video saying that, you know, we should be praying when you first wake up. When you know, the Lord don't have to, you ain't guaranteed that day. He said when he wake up in the morning, first thing he wake up, first thing that be on his mind be like, oh shit, I'm still here. You know? And then, you know, he says prayer. You know, thanking the Lord for another day.
And you should pray before you go to bed too.
You know, right? I should have passed the building. It's
Because,
past the building.
you know, asking for forgiveness of the things that you may not have been aware of that you done. You know, we should pray all the time, not just certain times of the day, but we should always acknowledge the Most High. You know, when in anything we do, you know, and give him thanks for all things we receive, whether it's good or bad.
You in your right mind, that's it. That's more important than anything. You know, if you in your right mind, that's it. That's the most important thing. You know. Verse 14. Therefore the Lord cuts off the head and the tail, the highest and the lowest from Israel. Both the high palm branch and the low bulrush in one day. The elderly and the honorable man, he is the head. The prophet who teaches lies, he is the tail. For those who lead this people are causing them to go astray. See, and that's the catch right there. Those who are leading us are causing us to go astray. These churches, just to be honest, they causing us to go astray. They're not teaching you who you are. You know, they're not teaching our people who they are, what America is, you know, they don't, you know, but it's like they don't even have that Holy Spirit on them, that Spirit of truth. So
See that?
we'll just keep reading though. For those who lead this people are causing them to go astray, and those who are led astray by them are swallowed up.
Right. And those who are led astray are swallowed up. So like we read in Hosea 4, is that both the priests and those that follow him, roughly paraphrasing, both are wicked. You know? It ain't, because it's a lot of information coming out on a lot of these pastors too, or these preachers, or these churches. You know, especially mega church. Ain't nobody even talking about T.D. Jakes no more. You know? We ain't gonna let that slide about everything that came out about him. Right. We ain't letting that slide, but he ain't the talk of the town no more. Don't nobody consider that no more. Right. She did it.
This is Ezekiel 14:9-10. But if the prophet who speaks without my authority is enticed to speak a word of his own, it is I, the Lord, who have caused that prophet to speak falsely to please the inquirer, thus allowing himself to be a party to the inquirer's sin. And I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people Israel. They both will bear the punishment of their wickedness. The sin of the counterfeit prophet will be the same as the sin of the hypocritical inquirer, so that the house of Israel may no longer drift away from me and no longer defile themselves with all their transgressions, but they will be my people and I will be their God, says Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So the Lord said he punishing the false prophet and those who listen to him, man. You know, and he set it up that way. You know, because a lot of, like I said, our people that's in Timothy where it said they gonna have itchy ears. They want somebody to teach them something they want to hear. You know, they don't want to hear the truth. So, you know, just like when we out here teaching, a lot of our people know this. They can get a sense of this truth, but they want to be willing and ignorant of this. But Isaiah 30:9, they want to hear smooth words. You know, they don't want to hear the raw and cut truth. So that's why a lot of our people just go to these churches, man, because that's what they gonna get. I'm going back to the Isaiah 9.
To answer your point, the Lord set it up like this because all these situations needed to exist for us to get the full understanding of why we supposed to serve the Lord. You know, so when the kingdom of heaven is finally established, it won't be no, you know how the serpent tried to come to Eve saying, why the Lord tell you got to do this and do that? You can live like this, you can do like this. So that situation ain't gonna ever happen again. You know? Because in the beginning, that was the kingdom of heaven, you know, at the time, at the very beginning. But this kingdom of heaven is gonna be on a much grander scale. And like we said, it ain't gonna be nobody, no other nation trying to tell us how the kingdom should be ran and how we should live. You know, our women ain't gonna be deceived in that time because they done experienced everything under the sun. You know, they done been led into every way under the sun. They ain't gonna be deceived no more, and we ain't gonna be led astray either. So all these situations have to exist for us to get the full understanding.
Can I bring out this precept that's going into what we talked about? Because this describes the women of our time right now. I'm going to jump back and forth between the AMP and the KJV. This is the AMP. It said, my son, this is Proverbs 7:1. My son, keep my words and treasure my commandments within you, so they are readily available to guide you. Keep my commandments and live, and keep my teaching and law as the apple of your eye. Bind them securely on your fingers. Write them on the table of your heart. Say to skillful and godly wisdom, you are my sister. and regard understanding and intelligent insight as your intimate friend, that they may keep you from the immoral women, from the foreigners who does not obtain Yahweh Shai law, and who flatter with her smooth words.
Right, and that's twofold, because it go into all these other doctrines and philosophies that our people get caught up in. We have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments and the ways of Yahweh Hashem Abishai primary, because like the brother was going into, where our people got those itchy ears, and especially for women, you got women, they ain't gonna want, these women today don't like order and structure, you know, and they definitely ain't willing to really serve the Lord. You know, you might have, and I ain't talking about you sisters that's changing of the mind, you know, but we talking about the mass majority of our women. They ain't really in the mindset of serving the Lord. You might have certain sisters that's cool with following you, you know, certain women that's cool with following you and doing, you know, just because they want to be with you. But for the most part, these women not in the mindset of serving the Lord, so they gonna want to do their own thing and go their own way, and they gonna want to pull you in the way that they want to go. And if you ain't strong enough, you gonna get caught up. So that's why I say with the flattery words, and it's gonna go into what's catered to your emotions, you know. But also too, it can go into women as well, you know, because women do come deceptively like that. They try to get you. A lot of men have died or been put in bad situations because of women when they come with their deceptive ways.
Like the scripture called and said immoral. They like I say nowadays, they ain't got no morals, they ain't got no manners, and they hypocrites. Like you call them the perfect thing, really a prostitute, but that's all that. What you got to do for a prostitute? With a prostitute, you give them money, and then you get what you want in return. That's all they looking for now. Somebody give them some money, and then they'll give it up. Then once you get to a certain amount, they ain't nothing but some prostitute or hoes as they call it. And then, like I say, hypocrites. You had all these years and all these generations of women saying men ain't shit, I don't need a man, and now all you see videos of women hollering about, or they happy they done got some child support, or they mad that the man ain't helping. I thought you ain't need him.
Right.
You ain't need him for shit. Now you complaining that he ain't around. You probably forced him out the picture.
9 times out of 10, because I thought about this. What did Solomon say? He said, out of 1,000 men, I can find one man that's at least trying to serve the Lord. You know, I can find at least one man that's trying to do right. He said out of all these women, he said he couldn't find not one. Over 2,000 years ago, he couldn't find one woman that was trying to do according to the Lord in the standard that's approved. But he said at least one man, you know, you can find a man that's trying. So that lets you know then. If we was in the ancient world now, it probably wouldn't be no women over here in Babylon the Great. All women would probably be gone. Except for the sisters that's transforming and trying to change. That's literally how it's gonna be. That's what the deliverance is all about. You know, the rest of our people gonna be destroyed. Only the elect is gonna be saved. It's literally going back to an ancient judgment. You got it.
Right. Number 6, verse 6, it says, back in the KJV, it says, "For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youth a youth man void of understanding, passing through the streets near her corner, and he went the way to her house. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, and beheld, there met him a woman with an attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the street, and lieth in wait of every corner."
Right. You see, it's the first thing it says she had a whore attire, because guess what? Because it said the man was led into her. You know, he followed her. And what's the first thing? We'll use actual physical women because it's still being symbolically speaking of these other philosophies and doctrines too. But just think about how a woman nowadays, like you were saying, these modern day women, how they dress. You know, they real life prostitutes. Just think about how they dress. They when they reveal their body and when they dressed all basically damn near naked, we all look, you know, we in the truth. You know, we know about the scriptures and we still look because we men.
Yeah.
And we visual, you know, that's how we wired. But at the same time, we have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know not to deal with those women. So that's how these other doctrines and philosophies are. They look enticing, but when you start to understand what they all about, like I said, it's loud. It said loud with us.
She's loud,
Stubborn.
loud, stubborn. Her feet won't abide in her house.
Right, so she's not compatible.
Yeah, outside.
Always in the street. Yeah.
Right, always in the street. She's not compatible. You know, you can't build a life with that. You know, every man know a woman like, unless you a simp, every man know a woman like that you cannot build with. That's something you have fun with, but you don't want to deal with that because that's nothing but trouble. And that's how Solomon through wisdom is telling us what these other philosophies and doctrines are. It's nothing but trouble. You can't build a life with that because it's literally, it'll lead you to death. Just like she'll lead you to death, or she'll lead you to be in a horrible situation and move on to the next man, like a physical woman would. So she's alluring and attractive by her attire, by what it seems to offer, but then when you start to get deep into it, you start to realize that this ain't it.
Right. They go into another way that the time to change. Talking about the younger generation getting worse and worse. Dealing with Eve, it don't matter what age. They be in their 30s, 40s, and you'll still catch them doing these little challenges and shit like that.
Right.
And they say you used to have to work for stuff like that. You get a picture or something, now they just showing it for free on the internet.
Right.
It's
Or
gonna
charge
lure
for
you
it.
in.
Yeah, that's the only way you can see it. I done seen that now. But they had a meme they had. It was like, hey, show me that ass. It was like, no. Then they said, all right, show me that ass. Challenge. Then they was like, all right, check the comment. Throw something on there, do anything. What they say, a rapper had said that in his song, Wale, he said, women will sell their soul just to buy some attention. They attention hoes too.
Yeah, and to back your point up, Instagram is getting off the chain now because they put out now that they're gonna start censoring stuff to kids underage kids on there because the women on there now they showing everything.
Well, no.
I could do
You
it
know,
by my day.
just to get clickbait.
It's kind of low.
Jay is active, man.
Yeah, you know, just to get clickbait because they trying to draw a check in from Instagram. You know, TikTok was worse. You know, I never did get on TikTok, but now Instagram it got worse.
That's why. Well, I ain't gonna say that's why, but I'm glad I'm off of social media because I don't even be knowing nothing about it. You know, it's like a disconnect too. Because again, we talk about the younger generation. The younger generation expects you to be at their level, but now that we in this truth, we on a much higher level. And I ain't saying, being on social media will put you at a lower level, but being off of it, you definitely elevate in the spirit. You go beyond your years, because of the things that people look for validation, for attention, or something to keep them distracted. You're not moving in that fashion no more. So all those things of the world, it literally, it's like you're on the outside looking in. It really looks foolish to you. And then on top of that, social media is gonna be done away with in the times to come. All these people who got a lot of followers, who get a lot of likes, who get a lot of attention, that's really an addiction too. Social media and that attention and everything, that really gives them that dopamine high to know when you get on social media, you post a picture, you expect it to get a certain amount of views or a certain amount of likes.
Right.
Now, I remember I used to be on social media, and when I was at that point, if I post a picture, and if I get like 10 hours later, I only got 3 likes, I'm finna delete it. But women do that already. They'll do that. They were doing it back then a couple years ago. It's worse now.
All right, well, the last verse it says, so she caught him and kissed him, and with an imprudent face said unto him, I have a peace offering with me. This day I have paid my vows. But you know, that just goes into the women, you know, of today, because whenever something's going on, you know, you see them, they got on the coochie cutters, you know, and damn, like he said, damn near naked walking around. They might as well just take it all off, you know, because you know, it's they're just like that from being naked, you know, and you know, their eyelashes way out to here and nails and hair down here, you know. Nothing wrong with trying to beautify yourself, but you know what they're doing. They're out trying to catch somebody's eye, you know, to see where, like he said, where that next trick, the next simp gonna come from.
No, you said it right the first time.
But that's it. That was it.
Going back to Isaiah 9.
Go back in Isaiah 9:16, Amplified Version, for those who lead this people, causing them to go astray, and those who are led astray by them are swallowed up. KJV, therefore the Lord have no joy in their young men, nor shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. Everyone is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
Right, so even with the condition that the earth is in, and the condition that the Israelites are in right now, here we are back again after the Friday event, just using down here, after what happened this whole weekend, we right back at camp. You know, other brothers still uploading videos. They're going to be down there at Camp Friday. And any other group that's teaching his word of sincerity and the truth, they're going to be holding camp. This is the Lord's hand still stretched out still. Because he didn't lie when he said the time going to come where people going to be actually searching for the truth and they ain't going to find it. So right now, his hand still stretched out.
What you want in Isaiah 1?
Just starting with 4 or 5. Just going into how our people, the oxen of the owner.
This is Isaiah chapter 1. We start at verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua have spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, but they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doeth not know, my people do it not consider.
Right, so it said our people don't know, they don't know Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And they ain't trying to get to know him. You know, Hosea 4 and 6. You ain't even trying. And the Lord see that too. That's why we always say the hopeful elect, because we hope. Like we trying to put in effort to show the Lord that we really care about everything that he's told us to do, and we take it seriously.
Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity. I'm reading the Amplified Version, verse 4. Ah, sinful nation, a people loaded down with wickedness, with sin, with injustice, with wrongdoing, offspring of evildoers, sons who behave corruptly, they have abandoned, rejected the Lord, they have despised the Holy One of Israel, provoking him to anger, they have turned away from him. Why should you be stricken and punished again, since no change results from it? You only continue to rebel. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart is faint and sick.
Right, see, and that's the point our people are pushing the Lord to. He said, look, it's to the point to where I'm not even going to judge. I'm not going to bring another judgment on you so you can be punished for your actions in hopes that you repent. Lord said he finna just bring the ultimate judgment just to wipe you out and start with the elect. That's what he did in the wilderness. You know, the Lord, in his mind, you know, he thought to wipe out the nation at that time and start over with Moses, you know. But But Moses reminded him of the covenant that he had. So the Lord was like, okay, I ain't gonna do that, but Jake's still finna get it. And I forgot the amount of people that died, but a lot of Israelites died behind it, that golden calf, because the Lord literally just delivered our people right out of Egypt. They literally just saw it. I don't know if it was a couple days interval afterwards, but immediately right after that, Lord like, shut it down, Moses. You see what these people doing? They went off already, worshiping the golden calf like I ain't just delivered it.
They say seeing is believing. Look what I'm meaning.
Right.
Still ain't get right. They said that on the TV show. Shut the studio down. They say
Right.
gotta shut it down.
Right, them 40 days and 40 nights, he told Moses like, nah, hold on. Like, you see what they doing? I think Moses even heard the ruckus. He even heard the commotion when he started coming down the hill. And that's when he got mad. He broke the commandments, you know, that the Lord wrote. He broke and went down there, fussed at him, and then the Lord got busy.
From the sole of the foot even to the head, there is nothing healthy in the nation's body. Only bruises, welts, and raw wounds, not pressed out or bandaged, nor softened with oil as a remedy.
Right. So the Lord saying, look, it ain't. That's Jeremiah 30. Ain't no healing medicine. Ain't nothing working to heal this people. You know, nothing that they try to do is working. But only the elect will have that healing medicine. And it ain't like the Lord don't truly understand his creation. Because he know, for one, he made the covenant with our forefather, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So because they Israelites, they still gonna have be back in the kingdom. Two, the Lord understand we under the worst empire ever and under our arch enemy. So we know that Esau, Edom did a number on us. 3, the curses, and 4, you know, with it, like it said, with everything that happened to our people, it's damn near no way. Well, it's no way back for 2/3 of our people. And the only reason we have a chance is because the Lord woke us up. You know, it's nothing we can do to wake our own self up or wake our people up. So the Lord understands, you know, his creation. But at the same time, it's really just ridiculous how our people are. Like that, it don't make any sense.
Your land lies desolate because of your disobedience. Your cities are burned with fire. Your fields, strangers are devouring them in your very presence. It is desolate as overthrown by strangers. Going to how the other nations, like I say, our land is desolate because of our disobedience. Our cities are burned with fire. That's going to the conditions that our communities are in, man. It said, your field strangers are devouring them in your very presence. It is desolate as overthrown by strangers. Right, man. So the strangers devouring, what we in our communities, the strangers doing whatever they want to do in our presence. The other nations, basically. They run their businesses. Like if they stores, it be all dirty out there. They just push stuff to the side. You know what I'm saying? They ain't forced to. It's just a mess. It's just a mess, you know. But it's because of our disobedience. It said, a daughter of Zion, Jerusalem, is left like a deserted shelter in a vineyard, like a watchman's hut in a cucumber field, like a besieged city, isolated, surrounded by devastation. So this just going into the conditions of our community where we live in. If the Lord of hosts had not left us a few survivors, we would be like Sodom, we would be like Gomorrah.
Right. So the Lord didn't leave an elect.
I'm gonna read that in the KJV too. Isaiah 1:9 KJV. Except Yahweh Shai of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
Right, because the Lord completely annihilated Sodom and Gomorrah. He completely wiped it out. So the Lord said, look, if he redeemed a remnant, he would have completely wiped out the nation of Israel from off of the face of the earth. But
Right.
then how could the promises be kept? You know, but how could his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be fulfilled, his word be fulfilled, and the purpose of Yahweh Shah be fulfilled? Because Yahweh Shah's purpose is in his name. He is our Savior, he is our deliverer. But it would be purposeless if he don't have anything to deliver or anyone to save. And furthermore, Yahweh Shah didn't want to be in the kingdom of heaven by itself. You know, it's like a child growing up by themselves where they don't have no one to play with, and they're bored. They don't really want to be in that situation by themselves. They trying to make something. You know, they trying to have fun, imagination, and everything. Yahweh Shah didn't want to experience that in the kingdom of heaven by itself. He wanted his brothers and his sisters and their children to enjoy the kingdom along with him.
You got to think about it. We're all there in the beginning, you know, helping him create everything. So like you said, you know, if somebody helps you create everything, help you make everything, you want them there, you know, as part of your creation.